I am 33 years old and I work in marketing. Marketing sounds like a nice town. And train at home with kettlebells. That was an attempt at humor. I am thinking about making a career change and becoming a strength coach, personal trainer for people over 35 or plus 50. By the way, a great niche area. For some years, in my evenings and weekends, I study books, videos, and other resources on strength, sports science, and related subjects. I just love to learn about the field of strength training. Boy, I tell you, if you want to be in the field, you got to love it. I mean, you really do. I overuse the word passion a little bit, and I know that. But passion, of course, comes from the root to suffer. And I am willing to suffer for my love for strength training. So in other words, it's a good start to read that. Do you think it is still possible at this age, dude, you're killing me here, to become a fairly good trainer? Well, of course. Absolutely. Some of the best teachers I've ever been around didn't start off in teaching. They start off in the military or business, but they had a passion for English or whatever and come back in the classroom and come back and teach. They're wonderful because their real life experience blesses the classroom. So yeah, I think it's really helpful to have done other things. You know, and this is just a real side point here, Marius, but the bulk of being a personal trainer has very little to do with strength and conditioning. It's running a business. It's recruiting new clients. It's keeping clients. It's advertising. It's accounting and things like that. But what hurts most people in the personal training business is their lack of business skills. You're coming in from marketing, so you're going to have this massive advantage that I don't have. My friend Brian will tell you my marketing skills, which are zero. And I hear that around the house with my daughters. My daughters make fun of the things I do because I'm so bad at all these things. And I'm proud of that in an odd way. How should I approach this from a professional credential standpoint? What do I need? Well, you know, Marius, I talk about this a lot. Maybe not as much as I should, but I think you need to be certified in something. It might be worth your time to do the FitRanks cert. It's FitRanks, FITRANX. It's a weekend cert. They do everything. They do calisthenics. They do weightlifting. They do kettlebells. They do jump rope. They do all kinds of cardio things. The coaching is very good, but they also have a system where called FitRanks, where they have male and female, 3 different age groups, and then 8 different levels for each. Well, to me, that's a nice little cert. I do the hardstyle kettlebell cert, the 1-day cert where we go over swing, goblet squat, Turkish get-up. That might be something. I'm a big fan of John Berardi's precision nutrition because you're going to need to understand the weightlifting stuff and how to coach it, but you're also going to need to have some background in nutrition. I'm not telling you to be a nutritionist, and really it's outside of our wheelhouse, but that doesn't matter because you're constantly going to be bombarded with nutrition questions. And I mean constantly. I would do some work in the areas of recovery, and I don't know how you can do that, but either read up on sleep. Fortunately, with my work with the military, I actually work with sleep specialists. So when people question my knowledge of recovery, I'm always like, dude, I'm just quoting somebody else who has postdocs and is a medical doctor who specializes in this. This is the guy I had breakfast with. That's all. But a cert of some kind I think is helpful. Precision nutrition I think is helpful, or another nutrition program. But I just at the top of my head I don't know of any others. And then some level of understanding of recovery and things like that. Just so you can have conversations with your people. The business side is going to be huge. You got marketing. But I would say what I do for the accounting side is I hire an accountant. I have an accountant who's very good and understands. I have real issues with my accounting because I get things like royalties and I have international stuff and I have. So you need, I would suggest hiring a professional to do that. My accountant, Mont, is just, I mean, I can call him up right now and say, am I right or wrong on this? I'll get a clear, smart answer, not just taxes. Taxes are an issue, but with everything else. At my age, for example, I had to make the Social Security decision, and he was very clear about what to do. I don't know if Social Security is going to be around much longer, but at least we have a clear idea what to do. He asked the next question is, do you know someone who has made this leap to strength training from an unrelated field? Yeah, practically everyone I know has. Some of the best strength trainers I know. My friend, Mike Warren Brown, he has an MBA. My other friend, Erica, she comes from a counseling background, went into personal training for a while, and now is back in counseling. But it's interesting because personal training is counseling. So that'll help you a little bit. How should I go about earning a sufficient level of strength in kettlebells, barbells, and bodyweight modalities to be able to perform what I preach? Well, it kind of depends on your clientele, Marius. I didn't hire Ben Fogel and Mitch and Madison as my personal trainers because they're stronger than me. I hired them because of the quality of their coaching. So, I'm a big engine and I can press a lot and do these other things. No one cares, because if I'm giving you my money, Marius, to coach me, I don't care about how you look. I care about how I look. And it's the biggest problem I have when I work with young personal trainers. They'll show up very often in inappropriate clothes to highlight their body. And I'm talking about inappropriate clothes. Well, I mean, it's not inappropriate, but it's all about their body and their workouts. And they're not good personal trainers, and they don't last long. You probably should be able to easily pass a cert of some kind. You should be able to have a basic understanding of the lifts, but as for numbers, don't worry too much about it. I mean, obviously, I'd like you to have a body weight bench press and be able to do some pull-ups and be able to do an overhead squat, a front squat, a goblet squat, because that's just good for you. But as for those numbers, don't worry too much about it. Brian, who runs the site, and myself, we both went through a very interesting thing that we both did. It's kind of fun to think about. We volunteered at high schools. Now, I was a teacher there, and I was trying to get my workouts in, and I had the weight room. I had the weight room at Judge Memorial open in the afternoon. I would say probably 17 years. I wouldn't say 5 days a week because that would be hyperbole, but I would say 3 through the entire time, and often 5. And very often I'd come in on Saturdays because kids would want to work out. I got to thank those kids because I wouldn't say they were my guinea pigs, but they allowed me to help them, which really improved my coaching. And really all coaching is sometimes, coaching by definition is a coach is a vehicle with wheels on it that takes you from here to there. But the more you coach, the smoother that route becomes, and the clearer that those tires stay in the ruts better. Okay, and I have to thank Brian for reminding me about this. But volunteering at a high school or even at a community center to help out might be a great way for you to figure out your skill set and see your own gaps. And boy, if there's a thing in coaching that's important, is gaps. You got to find out your gaps. I talk about gaps a lot. If you're doing push, pull, hinge, that's all you're doing, and you're not doing an authentic squat and loaded carries, I'll tell you to do goblet squats and farmer walks, and in a couple of weeks, you make the best progress. It's because you had gaps. If you're up to standard in 10 things, but not in this, by pushing you up to standard on this is going to help everything else. When you coach, you're going to find out where your gaps are. Generally, when I work with people, their gaps are in the ballistic lifts, the snatch, the clean, the kettlebell swing, the kettlebell snatch. And there's a gap there. And so once we fill that gap, all of a sudden everything else starts to come out well. Good luck to you on this. and keep us informed.